How Pigeon became a war hero. Imagine being trapped behind enemy lines. No radio, no backup, no way to call for help, and the only thing standing between your entire unit and certain death is a pigeon. My name is Private William Harris, and this is the unbelievable true story of how a bird became one of the greatest heroes in military history. It was October 1918. The First World War was nearing its end, but nobody on the battlefield knew that. The air smelled like smoke and mud. Artillery thundered day and night. Every inch of ground was paid for with blood. My battalion had been ordered deep into the Argonne Forest in France. Thousands of soldiers were advancing. The mission seemed simple: push forward, break the German lines, end the war. But war never goes according to plan.
"Move! Move! Keep moving!" shouted Captain Whittlesey. We pushed through thick woods. Bullets snapped through the trees. Explosions shook the ground beneath our feet.
Then suddenly, everything went wrong. Our forces advanced farther than expected. The units beside us fell behind. Before we knew it, over 500 of us were completely surrounded. The Germans had us trapped. No food, little water, almost no ammunition. Every attempt to escape was met with machine gun fire. The men were terrified. One soldier whispered,
"We're not getting out of here alive."
Nobody answered, because deep down, we all feared he was right. Days passed. The enemy attacked constantly. Wounded soldiers filled our makeshift trenches. The cries for medics echoed through the forest. But then something even worse happened. Our own artillery began shelling us. The commanders behind the lines had no idea where we were. They thought our position was occupied by Germans. Explosions erupted all around us. Dirt and shrapnel rained from the sky. One blast threw me flat on my back. I looked up and saw soldiers running for cover. Captain Whittlesey grabbed a map. His face turned pale. "Oh, Guy," he said. "What is it, sir?" asked Lieutenant Leake. "The shells are ours." Silence. Then came another explosion. The captain looked at us. "If we do not stop those guns, we are finished." Communication lines had already been cut. Runners sent through the forest never returned. There was only one option left: carrier pigeons. Back then, pigeons were military messengers. Small tubes attached to their legs carry handwritten notes. Most people laughed at the idea of birds helping win wars. But on that day, those birds were our last hope. The first pigeon was released. German soldiers spotted it immediately. Rifle shots echoed through the trees. The bird dropped from the sky. The second pigeon was sent. More gunfire. Another failure. The men watched helplessly. Our final pigeon remained, a small blue-gray bird named Cher Ami. The name meant dear friend in French. One soldier looked at the bird and shook his head. "That little thing is all we have got left." Another replied, "Then we would better pray he can fly." Captain Whittlesey scribbled a desperate message. The note read, "We are along the road parallel to 176.4. Our artillery is dropping a barrage directly on us. For heaven's sake, stop it." The message was placed inside a tiny capsule, attached to Cher Ami's leg. The captain gently held the pigeon. Around us, shells exploded, machine guns rattled, chaos filled the forest. Then he released the bird. "Go," he whispered. Cher Ami shot into the sky. Immediately, German soldiers opened fire. The pigeon became a target. Everyone watched. Bullets streaked through the air. The bird vanished beyond the trees. We waited. Minutes felt like hours. Nobody knew whether Cher Ami had survived. The bombardment continued. More soldiers were wounded. More men died. The forest seemed determined to bury us forever. Then suddenly, the shelling stopped. At first, nobody believed it. The silence felt strange, unnatural. Soldiers slowly stood up. No more shells. Another looked around. "I think he made it." Cheers erupted throughout the trapped battalion. Some men cried. Others laughed. Many simply stared into the sky. Because somewhere out there, a pigeon had saved us. But the story gets even more incredible. When Cher Ami finally reached headquarters, the bird was barely alive. A bullet had torn through his chest. One eye was destroyed. One leg was nearly severed. Yet, despite horrific injuries, he completed his mission. The message arrived. The artillery fire stopped. And hundreds of soldiers survived. Military doctors rushed to save the bird. One medic reportedly said, "This little fellow has more courage than most men." Against all odds, Cher Ami survived. News of the heroic pigeon spread quickly. Soldiers who had never met him knew his name. He became a symbol of hope, a reminder that heroes come in unexpected forms. After the war, Cher Ami received the French Croix de Guerre, one of France's highest military honors. Not bad for a bird many people would have ignored. Years later, when people told stories about World War I, they often spoke of generals, They spoke of battles. They spoke of weapons. But they also spoke about a pigeon, a wounded bird that refused to give up. Whenever I think back to those terrifying days in the Argonne forest, I remember the fear, the smoke, the explosions, the uncertainty. But I also remember looking into the sky and watching a tiny silhouette disappear into the clouds, and realizing that courage does not depend on size. Sometimes the greatest hero on the battlefield is not the strongest soldier, is not the smartest commander, is not even human. Sometimes it is a pigeon carrying a message that changes history. And because of that tiny bird's determination, hundreds of men lived to see another day. That is why Cher Ami remains one of the most celebrated war heroes of all time. Not because he was powerful, but because when everything depended on him, he delivered. Leave a comment below. If you were one of those trapped soldiers, would you have believed a pigeon could save your life? Share, like, follow, and subscribe for more amazing true stories from history.